This is another roof inspection. It's a little breezy today, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So this is a dimensional roof, and it's worn out. You can see the aggregates missing. These dimensional shingles, or architectural shingles they call them in some parts of the country, they don't curl up like the 3 tabs do. When they dry out, they curl up like leaves, but these don't do that. What happens is the aggregate wears off, especially around the edges. But sometimes, you know, in the field, as we call it, you can see the black showing through wherever it's black. It's where the substrate behind it. So this roof is wore out. That's a copper soil pipe right there. You don't see that too often. So you got copper waste lines. This looks like a repair might have been done here. So they got capping material here, but here they use dimensional shingles. I don't know what happened. Maybe they ran out. It's only like 2.5 feet of it, 30 inches or so. So they look pretty old too. I think they just ran out of capping material when they did this job, and they used those. I count the vents on the roof, so we got 7 here, and I take a picture of all the penetrations in the roof. So I took a group shot of these 5. I took one of that one picture, and then another single photo of this one. So I got a picture of every vent. I take a picture, like I said, of every penetration in the roof. I took a picture of this soil pipe, that soil pipe over there that we already walked past. This is called the Weatherhead. This is like old school Weatherhead. This is going to be written up in my report as a defect, along with the roof being worn out. But this is called the service entry cable right here. And the outer insulation's worn off, but the inner is still there. And this is the connector right here. So from here to the pole here in Michigan is the power company, and from that connection to the house is all you. So you can see they put tar around there. That's pretty common. You know, if it's not leaking, I don't write that up anymore. When I was new, I did, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. But if it's not leaking, I don't write it up. This is in pretty good shape, but the whole thing's going to be written up. This is bad, this is bad. So that's all what we call defective. I'm using Palm Tech inspection software right now, so it gives you a choice of acceptable, marginal, and defective. So those are your choices. So I would write that up as a defect. This roof is going to be defective. It was in better shape. I might say marginal. It's old, but you get a few years out of it. And I always tell people the same thing. I say, you know, here's the story. Your roof is worn out. So is mine. I needed a roof 4 or 5 years ago, but every year I get up there and I doctor it up here and there. And I get some more time out of it. And you could do the same thing. But if you get a roofer over here, he's going to tell you need a roof, and he's not lying. You could use a roof. But I've seen cases where roofers came over and said they needed a roof and they didn't after I inspected it. And I'm like, okay, here's the pictures. So this is the chimney. This is a brick chimney with a liner inside of the metal liner, and that should go all the way back to the furnace. And the liner's to protect the masonry from the carbonic acid and the moisture that comes out of the furnace. More modern furnaces apparently have more moisture in the exhaust, and it deteriorates the brick. You can see there's been some repairs done to this brick, but it's not currently really. There's one little place here, but I'm not even going to write this up as a defect, these repairs, because they're okay. It's not pretty, but they're okay. I also make a point of taking pictures of all 4 sides of the chimney flashing. So I get all 4 sides, my photos, and I take a picture of this is called the flaunching, but some people call it the cap. There's different names for it. Everything in construction has 3 or 4 different names depending on what part of the country you live in, so keep that in mind. So there's an overhang on this one on the cap. Some of them don't have it, and some guys would write the fact that they don't have a cap up as a defect in the report. I don't do that unless it's got problems. If it's got problems, then I write it up. But it was built, if they don't have an overhang, it was built that way. So the gutters, I always take a few shots of the gutters. Sometimes people don't know if they have gutter guards or not, so if they call me later and say, hey, did that house have gutter guards? I can look the pictures up and tell them. because they might not think to do that. I mean, if I'm sitting there at my desk, I will look it up for people. Some aggregate from the shingles in there, and that's pretty common. It's common on an old roof where the aggregate's wearing off and washing down in there, and it's also on a brand new roof. You'll see a lot of aggregate in there because it's brand new and all the loose stuff's just falling off. That's normal. Call this drip edge, drip flashing. Roofer I know calls that rake edge, and then there's T-drip, and again, different names, different parts of the country. You call it rake edge, like a rake, and then the T-drip comes out a little bit and then comes back and goes down, so it's kind of like a T on the end. Over here, this is a good one. A lot of times customers will ask me, what is that thing? This is a sprinkler sensor. So if it's raining, the sprinkler system knows not to come on. So it's a rain sensor, I guess, not a sprinkler sensor. So that's about it. So on this one, we're going to say, you know, the roof is wore out. The weatherhead over there for the electricals wore out, should be replaced. Chimney's okay. That's about it. Gutters are okay. Thanks for watching.